welcome to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and I'm joined today with Jan and Andrea. We only have three of us here today because we have Mary in Linton, North Dakota.
Yay.
We are kicking off our hometown feature, and we're going to continue to do this. Linton is our first pick, and I'm really excited. It's, oh, there we are. There's some of the Lintonites right there. And Mary and I actually went a couple weeks ago to visit and get ready for today's show. So we're going to be cutting away to her. But first of all, I want to thank our sponsors of this hometown segment. We have Bosch's Meat Market, Northern Vet Services, Kimball's Guns and Repair, Farmers Union Insurance, That's a Pizza and more, K&H Electric, Spring Creek Coffee, The Grill and Lounge, and Linton Liquors. Thank you for sponsoring this Linton Hometown segment. Before we cut away to Mary, we're going to be talking about Germans from Russia because it makes North Dakota a very special place. I'm part German and Irish, and we have some other Germans here, right?
I am mostly German. I have a little bit of Polish in me as well.
I'm Norwegian and German from Russia, which surprisingly matches the makeup for immigrants to North Dakota during that whole time frame when everybody was coming to North Dakota. The majority were Norwegian, but the second largest ethnic group was Germans from Russia.
And what makes them special? If you're from North Dakota, you probably already know this, but what makes them special is they went from Germany to Russia first, and they were invited there by the Tsar in the 1700s. And it was meant many decades later, they didn't get all the promises. The promises started to fade away.
Yes.
Sound familiar?
Well, then there was the Bolshevik Revolution, and a lot of them
Oh, darn.
fled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we had it good, but now we don't, so we're out of here.
And they started to lose their religious freedom. And that's one thing we have in this country and still have. Got to keep fighting for it, though. And so a lot of the area around the Black Sea and the Volga River was similar to North Dakota.
Cool.
Imagine coming here for the weather.
No, thank you.
Well, they did. That's what makes them so special. And if you've ever driven across the country, and I have, both from the west and from the east, and I think, this is a hardy group that settled in North Dakota.
Absolutely.
That's just it. These people are so resilient, and they make something work out of absolutely nothing. And it's almost like a talent. In fact, when we look for new employees, we look for people from those types of areas because they have a good work ethic.
Yeah, and it's like, no trees, no problem. We'll make houses with sod.
We'll plant trees and water them.
There you go.
Yep. And I'm not from here, but this is my home. I've been here for 30 years, and I've lived in 4 other states. I've traveled a lot, and I like to think of myself as a North Dakotan because this is a good place to be. We have a good work ethic, and a lot of that is because of the Germans from Russia. Because they really made their mark in North Dakota, right?
Very family-orientated people as well.
Right. Church, family, God and country. Yep. They made their mark. So we're going to take a look. We're going to go over to Mary, who is in Linton, North Dakota, right now as we speak.
Willkommen bei Damen einer anderen Sicht auf Weg aus Linton. I meant to say welcome to Ladies of Another View on Back. I am so excited to be in Linton today, and I am sitting here with Alan Burke, and I understand that you know a little bit about Linton.
Oh, I might know a little bit.
You might know a little bit? How about the beginning of Linton? I understand the Germans from Russia kind of settled in this area. Do you want to just tell us how that came to be?
Well, about 2/3 of Emmons County is probably predominantly German from Russia, and they came to this area in the 1880s. They started leaving Russia in the 1870s, but our area was settled in the 1880s, and they came out because of the Homestead Act in part, where they got 160 acres or 320 acres to start farming with. And they also liked this area, some of them, because it reminded them of where they lived in Russia.
So then tell us why they left Russia. How did these, because I'm also German from Russia, and tell us how the Germans ended up in Russia, and even after a couple hundred years, they're still Germans. They were never a Russian.
Right. I'm an expert on this, being one of 2 Irishmen in Emmons County.
Awesome,
Right?
we got the right person then.
Yes.
See, then you can't offend anybody, right?
That's right. And the Irishman maybe isn't watching. They left Germany for opportunity. Things were rough for them in Germany at the time for farmers. And Catherine the Great in Russia in the 1700s wanted for Russia to be able to produce more food and more efficiently. And so she attracted German farmers to come to Russia, and they did by the thousands and established their own villages. Well, the rule was that they would never have to serve in the Russian army. Well, long after Catherine the Great died in the late 1700s, then the Russians decided maybe they should draft the Germans, including...
And that wasn't in their cards, was it?
That's right, including in a conflict with Germany. And so that's when they started leaving, and they went to several countries, but a lot of them came to the United States.
Certainly.
And they came up here. They probably came through Ellis Island in New York, a lot of them.
Sure.
And they came by train up to Eureka, South Dakota, and they literally walked, most of them, with oxen or without oxen, from Eureka up to Emmons County.
Certainly. So when you talk about Catherine the Great and she passing away, they wanted the Germans to then join the Russian army, but then they would have actually ended up fighting against their homeland, which were the Germans back then. So they technically, that was another reason why they didn't want to, or they wanted to come over here, because
Right.
they didn't want to have to, I mean, that was still their homeland, because the Germans are very proud, a very proud people.
Right. And their tenure in Russia lasted about 100 years.
Sure.
So 2 or 3, several generations probably.
Interesting.
But they came over here for opportunity and to escape increasing oppression over there.
Sure, sure. And then they had the Homestead Act. Well, tell us about the most famous German from Russia. You have one kind of in the community.
The most famous would be Lawrence Welk, who grew up at Strasbourg. His parents, Ludwig and Christina Welk, homesteaded just outside Strasbourg, and their farmstead now is a state historic site, one of the newest state historic sites, in fact. And there's a sod house on the farmstead and some other buildings, and it's growing as a tourist attraction. It's been there for a long time with a nonprofit organization first, before the state took over. But Lawrence Welk, still very popular on public television across the country, one of the most popular programs, actually. And anytime they talk about maybe reducing the number of times it's on or moving its time slot, they get a lot of calls and mail. So
I can understand that.
it's and it's kind of the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the original fan base who watch the show now.
Perfect. Well, Alan Burke, I do want to thank you for joining us here today, and we're going to be back with more on Ladies of Another View on Back.
My Hometown is presented by the following: Northern Vet Services, a full-service veterinary clinic with focus on herd health. K&H Electric, your local underground utility contractor. Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
My Hometown is presented by the following. Northern Vet Services, a full-service veterinary clinic with focus on herd health. K&H Electric, your local underground utility contractor.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and welcome back to our very first Our Hometown feature, and we are featuring Linton, North Dakota today. And I want to thank our sponsors, Bosch's Meat Market, Northern Vet Services, Kimball's Guns and Repair, Farmers Union Insurance, That's a Pizza and More, K&H Electric, Spring Creek Coffee, The Grill and Lounge, and Linton Liquors. So stop by Linton and check out some of those businesses. I know I have. I love Linton. I've been there a few times.
Absolutely. It kind of is one of those towns that you just come upon when you come down the highway from the north, or even when you're coming in from the river from the west, and it just opens up and takes you in. I just love it.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And there's good people from Linton. Everybody I know, I can say that about. So I don't know if it's in the water. I think it's in their families and their good values. But I want to take a look at some remarkable photos there they had. I think we're going to start with the blizzard.
Wow.
Okay, this is one of the buildings because it's actually the county seat, and we're going to hear about that from Mary a little bit more. And here's some of their old buildings. Don't you love those old cars? And this is the roots of Linton in Emmons County.
It would be nice to understand exactly where it was in the city so you can see if those buildings still exist. Maybe some of the wooden ones. Probably not, but that first one
sure
seemed like a possibility. See how you just kind of look down into the city? That is so cool.
Right, it is cool, unless there's a flood.
Well, yeah, well, any kind of natural disaster is going to cause some heartaches for sure.
Right, and I'm only saying that because down the road in like 1952 and 2009, they did have some flooding, just like we did here in Bismarck too. Now take a look at that. Wow. It doesn't happen very often, but you know, sometimes the river gets clogged up, you get those ice blocks, and then the water backs up, and there you go. I think that's the
Corps doesn't let the water out in time, or gives you too much. There's all those variants.
And here is
that's got to be 65 or 66.
66, yep. 1966. They had one heck of a blizzard.
Well, we did up here too, and I think the people down there were just as resilient as all North Dakotans, and it took them a couple of days, but they dug their way out, and were none the worse for wear. They're a hardy bunch.
Absolutely.
It's what gives us backbone, right?
Absolutely. I do love looking at those photos of the old buildings, and sometimes they are a little easier to place. Sometimes it's a challenge. One of the easiest things to tell, though, is the windows, because while they might reside, they might change the sidewalks, they might change the road, or even the roof line, the windows, they tend to be one of the last things that they update and change.
That's true, because otherwise they'd have to rearrange the rooms.
Yep.
And that usually doesn't happen.
Right.
Doesn't this look like something from one of those old Western movies?
I was going to say Gunsmoke.
Yeah. Look at that. I love it.
Now, do you think that that started out as an apartment building or a library, or, you know, it's just fascinating to look at some of the
I love these old
construction.
buildings, and they do have some of those old buildings still there. I think that one is still there. Don't quote me because I'm not an expert, but I think that one, it's a good, strong, sturdy building, and it's still there.
Might need a field trip to find out.
Yep, I think we do.
Let's all go.
But let's go back to Mary, and we're going to talk about Emmons County seat, which is Linton.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck from Linton. You know, a lot of people asked me why I chose Linton, and I said, you know what, I went to college with a lot of great people from Linton, and I'm finding more down here. Now I know why there's so many great people from Linton. They're right here in this restaurant. We're at the Grill, and we are joined today by Herb Walther, and he is the retired former U.S. Chamber of Commerce salesperson. He is the former owner of Gamble's, and he also owned Highway Grocery, but he knows a little bit about the history of Linton. So why don't you just go ahead and tell us how Linton got started?
Okay. This I learned from my parents because I was born in 1930. Linton first was called Winchester Territory. It was a little village about 12 miles southwest of Linton. Well, the railroad was here. With all the farmers, you got to have a grain elevator.
Absolutely.
So they built a grain elevator, and the farmers and the city people and everything agreed to have the town move to where the grain elevator was at. So they did. Harry Lynn was a big attorney around here, powerful, and he's the one that organized Linton here. But there were some rich people from Wisconsin, Illinois, and they were the Hogues, which have the hotel here now.
Certainly.
Wolverton, he built the hospital. The W.E. Petrie Company, which had a general store, which I worked for when I went to high school.
What did you get paid an hour when you worked there?
I think it was 35 cents.
35 cents an hour, and we have kids complaining today, right?
They got nothing to complain about.
Right. So tell us a
And
little
then there
more.
was the Youngs that had a clothing store. Now the Petrie store, that was called a general store. And in my day, they had everything from, I'm going to put it this way, from corn flakes to oatmeal. That's the only cereals you could buy.
Oh, certainly.
Look
Okay.
at the shelves today.
Right? Too many choices.
And they had machinery, everything, you know. And so that's that part.
So how about the stones? Tell me about the sandstone buildings in town. There's some beautiful old buildings right down here on Main Street. Tell us about that.
You know, the railroad was here, and all those rock came in on the train. And they were manhandled. There was no equipment, you know.
No bobcats, no pallets.
No. And I was told the Willows Hotel, that cement work that's done there, was all wheeled by ramps and a wheelbarrow.
Almost like building the pyramid, but a smaller scale.
Right, yeah. And there in 1929, there was no blacktop or anything, no sidewalks or nothing. The street lights were going down the middle of the street. And when they put in the sidewalks, they moved the lights to the sidewalks next to the buildings.
Sure.
Today, I got 2 of those lights.
Oh, for fun. Where do you have them in your yard, or do you have them in your?
One is in my yard, and one I got out where I had my cabin.
Oh, fun.
How I found them, I was seeing them in the weeds one time, And this guy was city auditor, so he had a little chance of getting in. So I did a little work for him, and he gave me 2.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I treasure them, yeah.
Absolutely.
Another thing was, which intrigued me, back in the early 30s, there was no refrigerators. And we had a guy by the name of John Schultz, Ice House. He went down here to Seaman Park, made ice, filled that barn up with straw, insulated it, and people had ice boxes, but you had to use ice. And I remember that real well when my folks went and bought ice from him, you know.
Certainly. Well, Herb, we have already run out of time, if you can believe that or not.
Okay, that's
but
fine.
I do want to thank Bosch's Meat Market, Northern Vet Services, Kimball Guns and Repair, and Farmers Union Insurance for helping sponsor this show right here in Linton. Thank you, Herb.
You bet.
We'll be right back on Ladies of Another View on Back.
My Hometown is presented by the following: Bosch's Meat Market, your full-service custom processing and retail product destination. Linton Liquors LLC at 201 South Broadway in Linton. Hope to see you soon.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories with family, friends, and your community is just a way of life. Yes, in times like these, it's good to be home. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting what's important in life.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
My Hometown is presented by the following: Bosch's Meat Market, your full-service custom processing and retail product destination. Linton Liquors LLC at 201 South Broadway in Linton. Hope to see you soon.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back. This is our very first Our Hometown segment, and we are moving right along. I'm having fun. How about you guys?
I am. What a character that gentleman was. You know, like we were talking on the break, he does look like the guy you would go to when you can't find the right bolt or the right screw or whatever. And he owned a hardware store. I mean,
Gamble's
Gamble's
hardware
and see,
store.
now that sounds familiar. Did we have one in this area as well, a Gamble's? That just sounds familiar for some reason. Maybe it was because I went to Linton when I was little. I don't know.
I feel like it's something out of Mayberry RFD, the Andy Griffin show. Don't you feel like that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's a cute little town with a lot more to offer than you might think, just seeing it as a spot on the map.
True that.
You know, yeah, and before we get carried away, I want to thank the sponsors of Our Hometown today. We have Bosch's Meat Market, so you can get your meat. Listen to all these businesses because I think it's pretty much, you know, full service there. Bosch's Meat Market, Northern Vet Services, Kimball's Guns and Repair, Farmers Union Insurance, That's a Pizza and More. I really want to try
That
their
sounds-
pizza. Yeah.
That's a pizza.
If they've got nothing like a good pizzeria.
Yum.
K&H Electric, Spring Creek Coffee, so you can go there for your coffee. And the Grill and Lounge, which is where Mary is broadcasting out of. And oh my gosh, I love that place. And I guess on Tuesdays they have chicken and dumplings to die for. So on Tuesdays you might want to swing by the Grill and Lounge. And Linton Liquors, because you need that too sometimes, right? Especially when the blizzards hit.
Oh my goodness.
But
you know
go ahead.
that Grill and Lounge down there, they always have a homemade special. You know, there's always something good. There's, you know, the German foods, the Niffle and Kraut some days. Some days there's homemade things like meatloaf and all the homemade soups and stuff. I've never been disappointed when we've gone there. Something to check out.
And when Mary and I were there, I think it was a week ago, the owner is such a hoot. He's going to be on in a later segment coming up, but he has a fun story, so I don't want to ruin it. We'll let him tell that story. But you know, there's so much character, and people know each other, and I love that. I'm from the Detroit area.
Oh, so there's no small hometown feel where you came from?
No, and I actually confessed this to some of the people there when we were visiting. I said, when our family used to drive up North Michigan, there we go, we got a little audience. Hey, everybody. When I used to drive up North Michigan, I used to look at these small towns. I thought, oh, how can anybody live there? Like, oh, that would be awful. But I have totally changed my mind. I did live in a small town in Ronan, Montana, and I love North Dakota, and I think you can keep your cities. You can keep your big cities.
Oh, agreed.
There is nothing like a small town. It's easier to live. It's more comfortable. And the small towns of North Dakota, you know, there's just good people, good businesses.
And they make their own fun. I'm looking forward. Linton has quite the calendar. We're going to get to that a little bit later. But they plan their community events, and there's all kinds of stuff that goes on in Linton. So you really don't have to be bored if you don't want to be bored.
No,
there's
and
plenty to do.
there's so much community support, too.
Absolutely.
I have family that still supports the Class B basketball and Class B football, and we'll hear a little bit more about that later on, too.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about sports, but not quite yet. We're going to talk about some of the businesses of Linton. We're going to hand it off to Mary. But, you know, a lot of people think drive into the city and, you know, to go shopping. I say drive into some of these small towns to go shopping.
Oh, they have cute boutiques and stuff.
They do. They do, and they have unique products. You know?
I agree.
Good beef, if you want to go to the butcher.
Yes.
Good hardware stores, because they actually use their hardware stores, right?
Yes, and good people. I mean, we're going to find that that's going to be the recurring theme with a lot of these smaller communities around this area.
I'm glad you said that, Jan. That's why we are doing our hometown segment, because there are so much character and good people, and we want to get to know them ourselves. It's going to be a treat for us.
Then we get to share it with everybody else, too.
Absolutely.
So you, our viewers, get to see what we already know.
And we know we have viewers from outside of the area, and so I bet you're going to enjoy getting to know North Dakota, too. So Mary's going to tell us about some of the businesses.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are at the Grill in Linton, North Dakota, and I am joined by Sharon Jangula. And now, Sharon, you're going to tell us a little bit about the business atmosphere in Linton. It has a long history of a lot of businesses and fantastic businesses, and just like Herb had told us on the way out, you once had 7 grocery stores, and now we're down to 1, but we're still building things back up. Tell us a little bit about Linton in itself.
Okay, of course I think Linton is a great place to live, a great place to do business. We have nice people.
Very obvious from the people I've met here already.
Right, and yes, we do have a grocery store. We do have recently a Dollar General and a Family Dollar have been built here. We have a new hotel with cobblestone Inn & Suites was recently built. Plus we also have another motel with 20 rooms in it. We're a full service community. We have a wonderful hospital with a clinic. We have dentists, optometry, massage therapy, fitness center, assisted living, clothing stores. I mean, you don't have to go out of town.
You can find it all right here.
You can find it all right here
in Linton.
Yes.
You know, a few that I wanted to mention was That's a Pizza and More, K&H Electric, Spring Creek Coffee, The Grill, Linton Liquors. There's plenty of things to get around here.
Yes.
But you know, I also want to point out that this is one of the very first communities that Beck Fiber came into. Tell us how you guys got the privilege of having one of the first Beck fiber installations?
Oh, that's a story I could talk on for a long time, but I'll try and touch on it really briefly. Rosenbluth International located an office here back in 1988. Hal had seen on a national news story that there was a severe drought in North Dakota, and it showed pictures of the cracks in the ground, no crops growing, and he wanted to do something as a company to help, and which eventually led to them locating a office in Linton, which was supposed to be temporary and 3 months. They wanted to hire 20 people on a full-time basis for 3 months, and there was such an overwhelming number of applications that they decided to hire 40 people on a part-time basis for 3 months. And the work that they thought this office would do would take 3 months to do, they got done in a very short amount of time.
Probably because of the good work ethic up here.
Those Germans from Russia, the good work ethic here.
Absolutely.
People show up at work and all these wonderful things. And so they started looking for more work for this office to do, and initially we started just doing data entry. And they decided to make it a permanent office. It grew to doing travel reservations, accounting functions, major functions for the company. And at one point in time, they employed about 200 people.
Wow.
And after they decided to make Linton a permanent office, Hal brought out all his VPs for a strategic planning session. And they met in our local chem board, and we did different things for them for team building. They did a scavenger hunt throughout the community looking for things like Rocky Mountain oysters. I mean, things like that.
You can find us here.
Which they didn't know what they were, but they communicated with the people in the community. They built a barbed wire fence out in the prairie and went on a trail ride. And after that experience, they had a wonderful planning session. The idea of a conference center and executive retreat, so other companies could do this, or a place where they could bring their executives.
Sure.
Which led to them building the Rivery, which was an executive conference center, which I had the pleasure of also working with.
Oh, wonderful.
Just wonderful, great memories. And I met a lot of people from not all over the country, but internationally. And when we would bring them from the airport, they were just struck by the raw beauty.
And the openness.
And the openness, and no trees. I mean, we could drive from the airport to the Rivery and maybe not meet up with a vehicle. No
and
traffic.
So tell us, you told me a story about a lady asked you to come out on the deck. Tell me that story.
Yes. You know, it was early evening one night, and a lady from, I think she was from Detroit, come in and she said, "Sharon, I need to talk to you." So I'm thinking, okay, I mean, we always address our customers, requests. So I went out. We sat on the back deck, which overlooked the river, and it is beautiful. We sat there for a while, and she didn't say anything. So I said, "Well, Kathy, how can I help you?" And she said, I can hear myself think." She said, "I've never experienced this before in my life." She said, this is beautiful." And it was really a touching moment, and we would hear that. Some of the most spectacular northern lights that I have ever seen, we watched from out there with the lights. They don't see that in the cities.
Absolutely.
So I think one of the biggest takeaways I had from my career with Rosenbluth is I think I appreciate what we have here. I feel so fortunate to live here. I mean,
sure.
Every day.
And you still have that same quiet, peaceful feeling right here in Linton. And so we will be right back on Ladies of Another View on Back from Linton.
My Hometown is presented by the following. That's a Pizza and More. Family friendly, family owned. Kimball's Guns and Repair. Gunsmithing, ammunition, accessories, and fishing supplies.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories with family, friends, and your community is just a way of life. Yes, in times like these, it's good to be home. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting what's important in life.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
My Hometown is presented by the following. That's a Pizza and More. Family friendly, family owned. Kimball's Guns and Repair. Gunsmithing, ammunition, accessories, and fishing supplies.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back and our special My Hometown feature. Very first one from Linton, North Dakota. Mary's out in Linton. We're here just enjoying what's going on in Linton and wanting to make a road trip there pretty quickly. I want to thank the sponsors of this segment. Bosch's Meat Market, Northern Vet Services, Kimball's Guns and Repair, Farmers Union Insurance, That's a Pizza and More, K&H Electric, Spring Creek Coffee, The Grill and Lounge, and Linton Liquors. Thank you so much for sponsoring My Hometown today with Linton. We're going to talk about sports. Mary's got some special people there with her, including one of the most winningest coaches ever, because Linton, North Dakota has the title of most winning sports teams.
Wow,
with
that's
their
pretty
schools.
cool. No wonder they have such a good following. These people follow them everywhere. It doesn't matter where they go to play. All of the hometown people are there to cheer on the teams. It's pretty cool.
It's very cool. When you go to our hometown, they really care about their sports teams. And let's just take a look at a couple pictures. Their first school in Linton, built in 1909. That is a school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
They actually ended up raising it in 1930 because it was on the right-of-way for US Highway 83 where they were going to relocate that interstate.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they had ended up having to move the school, but that was the original school building in 1909.
Beautiful. Yes. And here's the band.
Oh, man.
The school
Right on
band.
Main Street. That is Main Street. I still recognize that.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This was around 1964.
Wow. Yeah, that was about 1964. It looked about that, that old. So, yeah. But Mary's going to talk about, she's got a couple of the coaches there. And, you know, being from a big city, you like sports. But it isn't the same. Whenever we played a small town, we were always told the whole town will show up for it. And
Well,
they did.
If it's not your child, it's somebody else's
Yeah,
that you know
absolutely.
that you want to support.
Yeah, good entertainment and the community comes together. So let's toss it off to Mary here.
Thanks, Patty, and welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, right here from Linton. I am talking to Coach Carr, and I understand you know a little bit about basketball. If you can believe it or not, he is the winningest coach in the state of North Dakota for basketball. Tell us about your successes. How did you become successful like that?
Well, I think that first of all, you know, Linton is a very supportive community when it comes to athletics. You know, our school is very adamant that we be both academically, that we do very well, and they want our kids to perform very well. but they also give us a lot of support in athletics. The community's always been like that, very sports-minded, and so they let us do the things that we have to do to be successful, and whether it's putting money into facilities like our weight room or gym or fields, or just giving us the opportunities to work with the kids and do the things that we need to be successful.
Sure, Coach Carr. So as far as, I think there's hardworking kids. That's obvious by the people that we've talked to already in the community. I think it's just that determination and everything. What kind of advice do you give the kids before a game?
Well, it depends upon who we're playing and what we're doing here, but usually, we're talking about execution, just make sure that they're doing the right things as far as our game plan and things like that. In athletics, we're always promoting teamwork and unselfishness and those types of things. We've been very fortunate in Linton to have those types of kids who are very willing to work hard. They're dedicated. Their parents are the same way. They allow them to do they need to do to be successful. So it's been a very good atmosphere. I've always appreciated the community and just the way they look at things.
Sure, and I understand too, when you talk about hard work and physical work, a lot of these kids came from a farming background, and maybe lifting bales or something like that counts as a workout for you, I'm guessing.
Well, when I first got here, it was about 40 years ago, most of the kids were dairy farmers, the people were dairy farmers, so the kids always got up early and worked hard, and it's always been very evident that this community has had a great work ethic, and we don't milk so many cows anymore, but the kids still have that work ethic.
Well, maybe that dexterity helps them on the basketball court.
Certainly doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt, absolutely. And so what kind of advice, and just say 30 seconds or less, what kind of advice would you give students or just athletes in general going out in today's world?
Well, I think, I think they learn a lot of those things in athletics that they need to be successful in today's world. It's just show up on time, do your job, work hard, and I think our kids have been very successful when you look at some of the professions that these kids get into and the success that they've had.
Great. Okay, well that is Coach Dan Carr right here from Linton, North Dakota, the winningest basketball coach in the state. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Back from Linton.
Yay, Mary, that's cool.
He's been coaching for 40 years.
Amazing.
Yes. Well, the thing that he said that I wrote, I scribbled it down. It's like you need to show up, be on time, and do your job. I think we can give that lesson to so many people. What a great thing to instill in the kids.
Absolutely. You can watch the Linton basketball games on Beck Sports. In fact, at 5:30 today, they're replaying the Linton versus Lemoore game on Beck Sports.
Sweet.
You don't want to miss that. Yeah, let's see what the winningness coach does with it. I mean, it just seems pretty, it sounds like he has good players to work with.
Yes.
That they come with good work ethics. And so we have another coach, another winningest coach from Linton. Their football coach, Coach Dan, I hope I say his name correctly, Imdyke. And Mary's going to tell us about him. She's with him now.
Thanks, Patty, and Ladies of Another View on Back right here from Linton. I'm so excited. Now, what are the chances of having the most winningest basketball coach in the state? Well, how about having the most winningest football coach in the state as well? Right here from Linton, North Dakota, I am joined by Coach Dan Imdyk. So is there a reason why both of you guys are named Dan? It must be something...
Well, we're special.
Very special. Okay. Well, why don't, we only have a few minutes, but why don't you tell us how you became the winningest coach in the state of North Dakota with these kids in Linton?
Well, having the winningest basketball coach and the winningest football coach, there's got to be some reason, and it's got to be the families and the kids in the town. This is a rock solid family community, and with great support from the parents. The parents support the coaches and the athletics and what we're doing. So I think with those and to get them organized, get them disciplined, and so on, try to be fair and do what's right, and it worked out.
It sounds like it. It sounds like quite the community. And I think that German-Russian background with hard work ethics and just being strong and stout probably played in a little bit to that.
That's right. They aren't big, but they're snotty.
There you go. Sounds like my kids and my cattle, both. Anyway, so why don't you tell me the memory of one of your favorite football games right here out of Linton?
Well, I suppose that had to be, again, I don't remember what year.
No favorites, but
I don't remember which year it was, but we were down 20-0 at halftime, and it was
wow.
Semifinals of the state playoffs. And we ended up coming back in the second half and kicking the extra point with 37 seconds left to win 21-20. That had to be right there on the top of a big comeback like that.
That's fantastic. And that was right here in Linton? It was a home game?
Yeah.
So that kind of stinks to be losing at halftime on your home field, right?
Yeah, that's not good.
And so what do you tell your kids at halftime? What is it something that you would tell them?
Well, let's win the second half.
That's it? I bet there was more.
We might not win the whole game, but let's win the second half, and we'll see what happens. And we were known for our fourth quarter football. A lot of teams buckle a little bit in the fourth quarter, and that's what we wait for, the fourth quarter, and then we'll see what happens.
And then sometimes if they think they're winning, then they kind of slow down too, the other team. So that's great. Unfortunately, we've already run out of time. We're with Coach Imdeck right here in Linton, North Dakota, the winningest football team in the state. We'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Back from Linton.
My Hometown is presented by the following: The Grill Restaurant and Lounge, dumplings every Tuesday, Nifla every Friday. Spring Creek Coffee, meased up and memories. Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories with family, friends, and your community is just a way of life. Yes, in times like these, it's good to be home. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting what's important in life.
My Hometown is presented by the following: The Grill Restaurant and Lounge, dumplings every Tuesday, Nifla every Friday. Spring Creek Coffee, meased up and memories.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and welcome also to the very first My Hometown feature But we're almost at the end here. That went by so quickly.
It's so cool to get to know a place that you thought you knew. You know, I've learned so much already about the city that I didn't know before. Well
Get to
done.
know it, yeah,
Yes.
even better. And as a matter of fact, we're going to give you some good reasons to go out and visit Linton because they will be having some upcoming events, something to keep in mind. Mark your calendars. Let's see. So here we go, June 11th. That's coming up fairly soon. The Dairy and Ag Day, Linton Demolition Derby. That sounds
Always
like
a
fun.
blast.
Okay, so you've been there July 3rd, the day before 4th of July. So, and then Linton Independence Day Parade, July 4th. Go to that hometown parade, show your patriotism. Linton Chamber of Commerce Chili Cook-Off, October 9th. And then Light Up the Night, November 26th. Good reasons to go out to Linton.
I think that Light Up the Night thing is a nighttime parade, kind of like we have a festival here in Bismarck.
Love it.
I don't remember the one
Look at
in
that.
Bismarck, but look at the pictures here. Isn't that cool? Look at the participation. You can tell they love it.
And I bet people come from outside the area.
Absolutely.
Because where else can you get something like this? A Light Up the Night parade in November.
Love it. And it's just making your own fun. And when you live in a town like that, you connect with your community and you make your own fun. There's a photo from the chili cook-off from
Look at
a couple
that.
years ago. They're going to be having one
Wow.
again this fall. Yep.
Yep,
So
a chili cook-off. And that's just what you need in the fall, too.
Oh, that just makes me hungry. I'm sorry.
I was thinking the
I can
same
just
thing.
smell
you're ready for chili. I'm ready for chili.
Yes.
I was thinking the same thing. Have you gone to chili cook-offs? They are so much fun.
They are.
And good, yeah.
And well, look at the old parade from, wow.
1907?
That's insane.
1907.
Yeah, carrying on the tradition.
Love
Very
it.
cool.
Still having their parade.
What a nice shot of the city. Lots of fun to see and lots of things to do.
This has gone by so quickly, but we're going to turn it back over to Mary because she has a very fun guest you're going to love.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. We are at the Grill in Linton, North Dakota, and I tell you what, I was here for the first time about 2 weeks ago, and I got to meet Mark Hedrick. He is the, did I pronounce that correctly?
No.
No? Okay. How do we do that then?
Heydrich.
Heydrich, because we're
There
in Germantown, Linton.
That's right.
Just like I'm a Griner in Mandan, but I'm a Grainer in Bismarck.
Let's
So I
see.
hear you.
She knows.
Yes. So anyway, tell me how you came back to Linton.
My wife and I had a business down in Fort Worth, Texas, and in 08, 09, the economy was so wonderful. A couple years before that, I bought a house on eBay.
Heard about that.
And to hunt and fish out of. And when the economy went to crap, I decided that we'd really like to come back to North Dakota and where I was born. I was born in Bismarck and raised in Bismarck for the most part. So we
Were your
sold
parents from the Linton area?
They are, yep. And,
They are?
Yep, and my grandparents and my great-grandpa immigrated to the Strasburg area, just west of Strasburg.
So what makes a man buy a house on eBay from Texas?
Hunting and fishing. Wife not knowing.
So there you
helped.
go. A wife not knowing.
She did after I bought it.
Right.
She claimed the kitchen cabinets were supposed to be next, and I said, no, I can't do that. We got a house.
Yeah, one thing at a time, honey. Right. And so anyway, you told me a little story about the bidding process on that. You were at what, 10 grand or
We
something?
were at 10 grand, and about 10 seconds left, somebody tried to bump it and cost me 2 grand in 10 seconds.
Yes.
So that was fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now you own the grill, and I tell you what, we tried to get here on a Tuesday because I heard you have the most wonderful chicken and dumplings. Any truth to that, or is that a rumor?
We do. Our cook in the back has been in this building for 42 years, and she does our chicken and dumplings as well as our nifla for Fridays. We have nifla off the grill as well as nifla soup, and she is the bomb.
She is the bomb, in a good way, right?
Oh, man.
And so tell me some of the differences living in Houston versus coming to a town like Linton. I've heard that you don't have to use your blinkers because everyone knows where you're going anyway.
Pretty much. If they don't, they just hesitate and make sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Or say if you call someone and you get the wrong number, you talk for a half hour anyway.
That would be about correct.
Do you have anything else? Any words of wisdom?
Oh gosh, you know, just small town life is a whole change for my wife more than me, being that this is our second child at home. But if you want to have a quality life and not have the hustle and bustle and be able to have your kids go out and not have to worry about them, you know, there's nothing like a small town.
Absolutely. So I just wanted to mention a few things. We have Bush's Meat Market. We have Northern Vet Services, Kimball Guns and Repair, Farmers Union Insurance, That's a Pizza and more, K&H Electric, Spring Creek Coffee, The Grill right here, and Linton Liquor. So basically, you have good coffee, food, you can buy a gun and insure it, you can drop your deer off at the meat market, and there's someone here to keep the lights on.
And don't forget our hospital.
And our hospital, in
Yeah,
case you get hurt
just
doing
in
any one of
case.
those things,
Correct.
we have someone
We do
who can
have a
treat
great
you.
hospital.
Absolutely. So tell us, we'll kind of wrap up with your restaurant in itself. You run a special how often?
You know, we run a special every day, and actually if you get on our Facebook page, we have a special for lunch and for supper every night. We put out a month-long special. Our specials are on Tuesday with our chicken and dumplings and Friday with our nifla.
Awesome.
You know, those are our two signature ones. We have people travel far for those just to come and have lunch.
I've heard that. In fact, people told me that they came here just for the chicken and
Right.
dumplings,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I know there's other restaurants that think they claim their fame to NIFLA, but nobody makes it like they do right down here at the Grill in Linton.
Homemade.
Any truth to that?
That's all homemade stuff. Homemade dough,
Absolutely.
no frozen ingredients.
And you have a pie or two around here?
We do. Our partner's mom comes in off the farm, makes our pies and our cookies. They're fantastic. You know, we hand patty our own burgers. We do homemade mashed potatoes. So we try to do as much homemade stuff as we can. We can't do it all, but
Perfect.
we try to do a lot.
All right. Okay, well, we are in Linton with Ladies of Another View on Back at the Grill. Come down and join us. Come check out Linton. There is a lot to offer. See you next time on Ladies of Another View on Back in Your Hometown.